365 update webcast for June. It's the second one in June. Yeah, there were some reasons why it's scheduled twice in the month of June. We thought and hoped that more information about the Wave 2 release of 2020 was already available at this time. Unfortunately, it's not, but we're coming to that subject later on in this webcast. Welcome everybody. My name is William van Voorthuizen. I'm a PTS and product specialist for Business Central at QBS Group, and I'm the host of the monthly webcast, so maybe you're all familiar. Like Sander already mentioned, the first two topics will be hosted by QBS. First, I will do a short update on the news regarding Business Central. Then Chris on CRM and Power Platform, and then we will hand it over to Jan Silman regarding 4NAV. There are a few Business Central topics I want to highlight during this webcast. That's the 16.2 release, which has been released. Some more information about telemetry, a great block around your first connection between Business Central and the Common Data Service. Some issues with Power BI we currently have at Business Central SaaS, and much requested by several regions, some information about how to change the VAT rate in Business Central. Due to the COVID crisis, some governments had made some decisions to change VAT rates, and they have something changed to that tool within Business Central. And some more information about the Wave 2 dates which are announced by Microsoft earlier this week. So let's get started with the update for 16.2 for Business Central SaaS. There are several new enhancements. First, a customer who uses Business Central 14 on-prem can now load the new version of the cloud migration extension and migrate their data straight from Business Central 14 on-prem to Business Central 16 online. So that's an enhancement in the cloud migration tool. So it's not necessary anymore to first upgrade to Business Central 15 on-prem. Microsoft also has made some enhancements to the telemetry information in application insights that will be covered in the next slide, so I'll come back to that later. And there is a new parameter which is now supported in the URL to access Business Central, so that both developers and administrators can hide the Microsoft 365 header from the web client. So keep in mind, this could be also related to the upcoming integration with Microsoft Teams, which has been announced earlier. So, for example, you could imagine that, for example, job cards or timesheets maybe are coming to Microsoft Teams in the near future. And of course, web headers are not necessary in that kind of integration. So Microsoft already has made some announcement to the SaaS client, to the web client, to be prepared for that. Next to that, there are some enhancements regarding the user experience. And for example, if you look at the document status, to make it easier to notice the status of a document, it's now highlighted. Line actions in document lines, such as item availability or item tracking and so on, are now context aware. So if you have the type resource, then you're not seeing information, for example, related to item tracking. Those menu items are now hidden. So it will become more and more context aware, all the options you have. And that's a great enhancement, because maybe you all know that, especially in the new web client, sometimes it's very hard to find the right buttons in the new command bar. Then there is a new modern authentication to connect to the Common Data Service. And therefore, I would highly recommend to read the blog, which is linked within this slide. And after this webcast, you get the slides and also the link. Please have a look over there if you are not familiar with a Common Data Service integration with Business Central. That's a first experience for you, and it's easy to create a first connection with the Common Data Service. Next to that, installing AppSource apps updates are now available from the admin center of Business Central. As you know, updates are frequently made available for these apps by Microsoft, by partners and ISVs. And to help you manage those app updates, the administration center includes now a menu which is Manage Apps. And that page can also help admins by resolve requirements for app updates, understand the dependencies between some apps you have in your environment, and also analyze, of course, the installation and update issues. And also you're able to trigger a actual update of a certain app from your admin center. Then some things which are good to know. The topmost header in Business Central Web Client has now been aligned with the other Microsoft 365 and Dynamics 365 apps. So you could see that, for example, the most notable change is to the height of the header, which has been reduced to take up less pixels, so you're getting a greater canvas for your actual information. Then Microsoft has announced a warning regarding performance impact when using configuration packages of Rapid Start to import data. And those packages were designed to speed up the implementation of new companies, of course. We are all familiar with it. But in a case a customer wants to use configuration packages as a quick way to import data multiple times during operations from older systems, for example, this small feature analyzes if the import will bring data to a new company or not. And depending on that and the size of the package, it will alert the user that the performance of that particular environment could be affected by importing those configuration packages. You all know that heavily used configuration packages could really slow down the system. So Microsoft has officially brought out a warning around it. Then, like I said before, Microsoft is heavily investing in the telemetry, which is made available to the partners. So Microsoft is going to give more and more information to the partners to monitor the performance of your of the environments of your end customers. And there are certain areas where you get the information of, for example, authorization, company lifecycle. And on the right, you see the information which is actually available. So, for example, if you look at database log timeouts, it provides information about database logs that have timed out, for example. Or web service requests, it informs you about the duration, the execution times of those web service requests. So if an end customer is, for example, questioning the performance of Business Central, within application insights with the telemetry of Business Central, you're able to see if things are going wrong in those areas. And good to know that Microsoft will be adding more and more areas in the near future. Then a Power BI issue. As you all know, the minor updates of Business Central, you're not able to schedule them. You just got them from Microsoft, and a lot of customers are complaining about Power BI issues if there's a relation between Power BI and your Business Central environment. The issue has been introduced by the version 16.2, and you get a error which said the specified method is not supported. And Microsoft is currently aware of this known behavior, and they are working on a fix. And they also say, okay, if you experience the same error, you don't have to contact Microsoft because they know and they're working on a fix right now. Then how to manage VAT rate changes in Business Central. Many countries, like I said before, have turned to VAT to stimulate their economy in response to the COVID crisis, of course. And several countries are planning economic packages. Of course, one of those packages is changing the VAT rate. For example, Germany recently lowered the standard VAT rate from 19% to 16%. And that's for a duration of, for example, in Germany from July 1st to the end of this year. And Dynamics 365 Business Central offers already a flexible setup to manage changes to those VAT percentages. But now they have updated the rate change tool to handle more VAT rate conversion scenarios. For example, the temporary ones, like I mentioned before, in the example of Germany. It will be available before July 1st for Business Central SaaS, and for on-prem customers, it will be available in the next upcoming CU update. And I've included a link as well to the official documentation of Microsoft, how to use the new version of the VAT change rate tool. Then the Wave 2 release of 2020, like I said before, we expected the information a little bit earlier, but now Microsoft has announced the key dates. On July 8th, they will announce and release the new release plan. So with all the new features they are planning for the new wave. And from August 3rd, you're able to get your early access. And then it's your time as an ISV or partner with IP to, as fast as possible, to check your apps and IP if it worked on the new versions, and eventually implement things around the new features Microsoft is going to release. And of course, the general availability is planned for October 1st. Good to know that it's not available to everybody on October 1st. Later that week, they will start the rollout region by region. That's the information we have for Business Central for this the past 2 weeks. And I would like to hand it over to Chris to inform you about more general Dynamics 365 news and regarding the Power Platform. Chris.
Thank you, William. Just checking everyone can hear okay.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. Excellent. So what I would like to cover today are 3 things. The 2020 release Wave 2 timeline for Dynamics 365 and the Power Platform. Preview availability for Dynamics 365 project operations and the preview request process. And also the best of the Microsoft Business Application Summit 2020 that is now available on demand. So last week, as William just said, at the halfway point in between the annual Wave 1 and Wave 2 releases, Microsoft announced the dates for the second of 2 2020 waves of new capabilities to hit their Dynamics 365 and Power Platform product portfolios. So what does this mean to anyone interested? And also, what action do they need to take? Well, the release plans will be available from the 8th of July. These release plans contain in detail the upcoming capabilities for all products in the portfolio. The last release plans and guides were around 800 pages long. So rest assured, we will review these communications for you and provide an update in a timely manner. Early access will be granted from the 3rd of August for all customers and partners to use within sandbox environments so that they can test and experience Wave 2 2020 features, and general availability from the 1st of October, which is when the production deployments will begin. If you want early visibility of the October 2020 to March 2021 updates, then keep your eyes on the Cloud Blogs pages on the 8th of July, or alternatively wait for us to provide the additional insights next month. Now, going back to March and 2020 release Wave 1 for Dynamics 365, we talked about this new product called Product Operations back on the update call, and how general availability was expected on October the 1st, 2020. This business application is a new addition to the Microsoft portfolio, bringing together capabilities from Dynamics 365 Project Services Automation, Dynamics 365 Project Management Accounting, and also Microsoft Project for the web. It's a new first-party Power App based on the Microsoft Power Platform and has a focus on service delivery. In particular, it has a focus on contracts, resource utilization optimization, and driving accelerated project delivery. it's advertised, and because it's still unavailable, as also having powerful costing, budgeting, invoicing, revenue recognition, and compliance capabilities. The depth of those obviously remain to be seen. But the plan from Microsoft is to enable a simple update from project services automation and a clear migration path from project management accounting. And the preview program has recently been announced. So if you wanted to apply for access directly, you can do that from the project operations website. There's options for customers, prospects, there's options for systems integration partners or ISVs. It says that they will share the environment details for the preview starting next week, commencing the 29th of June. So you should register your interest soon if you want your request to be involved. It is unclear whether or what the approval process and criteria are. Limited information is provided. And so acceptance on the preview program is likely to be dependent on Microsoft achieving their numbers required in each category of systems integrator, ISV, customer prospect, to their liking. The link is contained within the slide. I think moving on to the recent Microsoft Business Applications Summit. We know this event now takes pride of place in the Microsoft annual event calendar, which is a great thing from a dynamics perspective, being one of the 4 major events. The others are Inspire, Build and Ignite. The sessions from both days of the 2020 Summit are now available on demand. I took a look through these and from a highlight perspective, I think anyone who is unfamiliar with the benefits and the capabilities of Power Platform, then the first session listed here provides a very good overview. Empower your organization with Power Platform. In this webcast, and it's an hour long, Charles Lamarna, who's the Corporate Vice President for the Low Code Application Platform, or LCAP. That covers Dynamics 365, it covers Power Platform, it covers some of the AI and analytics capabilities. He shows the foundational elements of the Power Platform, and he also talks about the latest updates to the capabilities. So there's an actual demonstration in there too. Of how GlaxoSmithKline used the Power Platform to address a real-world challenge that they faced. And I think if you're new to Power Apps, you're new to Power Automate and the common data service products, this is a really good webinar for you to watch to get a holistic understanding about the potential use case scenarios within business applications for those products. The second one on the list around Power BI. Obviously, Power BI can now connect directly to the common data service. So the vision and roadmap session there is also well worth watching, and it's very complementary to the first. I think so for those of you that are new or are kind of wondering, what is the big deal around Power Platform, Power Apps, Power BI, Power Automate, which used to be known as Flow. There are 2 hours of your time there that could be well spent to give you the high level overview to help you plan the future of where your business is going with regards to those products and part of the platform. The third one on the list, really, obviously the product formerly known as AX, now known as Finance. That's going to be very relevant too for anybody who is in that area of the market, particularly the fourth session there as well. If you've got a focus on business to consumer or B2C sales, then the Sales Insights session would provide an enlightening overview of the new capabilities provided there. Again, that was announced in Wave 2020 Release 1. So the demonstration and the overall value propositions are now becoming much clearer with these sessions. I think the final one on this list, covering off the Business Central sessions, unfortunately, the What's New in Business Central session by Errol Schoenfish is not available via the site. I have fed back that the link is broken and it's unavailable. I'm still waiting on a response there. The more generic unified solution overview session is. Just to wrap up on the kind of generics this month, a couple of calls back, we let you know that Microsoft, that the Inspire, the annual in-person event for partners and Microsoft employees, usually running in Las Vegas, is going to be virtual. It's running on the 21st and the 22nd of July. Registration has now opened and it can be completed using the link on the slide there for anyone who would like to and hasn't registered yet. There is still no cost to attend other than your time. For those unfamiliar with Microsoft Inspire, the networking's a key part of it, which will be missing, but the attendance fee was $2,500 per attendee. So this is a great opportunity to view some of the sessions and the keynotes online with everybody else remotely around the world. Don't forget and do be aware this is aligned to the Pacific time zone. So be prepared for a late afternoon start running into the early hours of the following morning. And if you need to consider delegating, then get somebody to give you an update the next day. So that's all from me this month. William did say we hope to have more news. That's the best update we can provide. It's now over to Jan Silliman from 4Nav, who's going to talk to you about how to speed up implementations of Business Central by modifying document reports. Jan?
Thank you, Chris. Share my screen here.
Yeah, we can see it, Jan, and we can hear you as well. Maybe you can speak a little bit louder or put the mic closer to your.
Is that better?
Not that, but if you try to.
Let me just change my headset.
Yes, much better. Yes.
Is this better?
Yep. Very good.
Okay. Sorry about that. So let me just share again. Can you see my screen now?
Yes. We can see your screen as well. Yes.
Perfect.
Good luck.
So even though we tried everything, things can go wrong. So anyway, thank you. And what I will talk about here is something that you as partners hate and customers need, namely how to modify document reports like the invoice, the credit note, the order confirmation, and so on. But let's start with a short video of something that I'm sure most of you can actually recognize.
Jan, before you go to the video, could you please minimize the right box on the right? Yes, thank you.
A normal day at the office at a Microsoft Dynamics Partners Development team. Hey guys, I just sold Nav to a new customer and they want some changes to their sales reports. Who's going to correct the reports? Anybody? Where did everyone go? No, thank you. It's way too difficult and time consuming.
Hey, I saw a demo of FNAV. Their standard reports make it really easy to modify reports using their designer.
FNAV is great for converting classic reports, but designing reports, I don't know about that.
Let's take a look. FNAV comes with a full set of attractive reports for sales, such as the order confirmation, invoices and credit notes. And the code has been cleaned up and significantly simplified, so the reports are easy to maintain. It also comes with a set of watermarks you can choose from, and customers can even quickly create and add their own watermark.
Looks interesting. Tell us more.
Because FNAV used PDF, the logo and watermark are high resolution. Look, no square corners, even when you zoom in to 500%. And also, if you give your customer a discount, the caption is only shown on the invoices where there is a discount, something that usually requires customization.
But it's still difficult and time-consuming to maintain and customize.
FNAV used the master section. That's a template for all the information that's the same across several reports. So if, for example, a customer wants to modify the layout, you only have to modify it in one place, and then it's automatically updated on all the reports that use the same template.
But what about support? What do we do if we have a problem?
The FNAV team are dedicated to reports, and the partner feedback on FNAV support is extremely positive.
What? That's amazing. What are we waiting for?
So let me continue where the video ended, simply by showing you how easily we can modify a template, which is something you can do as partners that don't require developer skills, which I guess for most of you is a limited resource, or it can simply be done by the customers themselves. So basically what I have here is a standard Business Central running in the cloud. Whether it's cloud or on-prem doesn't really make a difference. And all I did is that I installed the FNAV app from AppSource. So this now gives me the option to go to the FNAV setup, where I have very few things that I can modify here. This is also where I can add a logo if you want a better resolution logo, and you can add a template. But let's go in and modify this template that they talked about in the video. So let's open the sales template. So what happens now that it will open in the FNAV Designer tool. Those of you who remember Seaside can maybe recognize some of this. You have some controls and so on. Of course, you have different properties. And very importantly, up here, you have the data set. So when you have selected a table in the FNAV Designer, you have full access to all fields, to all captions, including extensions, without having to define columns or anything like that you know from, for instance, from RDLC. And if I browse down through the report, you can see that things here are extremely recognizable. So let's just do a very basic change. Let's just change the color of these informations. And let's do another very quick modification. Let's add a number, the order number. And in this case, I actually want the order number to be presented as a barcode. So I simply select that I want this as a barcode without doing any additional modifications. So when I'm happy with this, I can simply save my change, and it will now be saved back to Business Central. And I can go into, for instance, in this case, my sales order, and I can print an order confirmation. Let's just do a quick preview here. And you will now see that these modifications are done to my order confirmation without any additional code or anything else. So I got the barcode, I got the part here in red. But this is not just the order confirmation, because I actually updated the template. So now my credit note, my invoice, my quote, and all the other documents that are based and using this template, they are automatically updated in the same single operation. So let's just quickly summarize on what you saw here. A demo that is also good to actually show to customers. Now, if you haven't looked at FNAV already, I strongly encourage you to download the free demo either on our website or on AppSource. Try it out yourself. If you need any help, there's a lot of information available on the both the QBS website, where we will also soon be part of the QBS learning system, or on our YouTube channel, where you can find what we call coffee breaks, which are short 10-15 minute presentations with just one specific topic. And of course, if you need any additional help, don't hesitate to contact me or the support team. So I hope you liked this small appetizer. Thank you for listening, and back to you, Sander.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jan Suleiman. And of course, we will include in the thank you email the link to the free trial version. So that will be sent to you hopefully this week already. Let's see if there are any questions. Let's see, no questions. Yeah, there was one, but that's already been answered by William. Thank you so much, and thank you indeed for raising this question in the chat box. Please use that one indeed if you have any questions. But for now, I see no questions coming up. Well, then, I want to thank you all for joining this webinar, and enjoy your day. And we will see you in the next webinar again. Thank you so much, and bye-bye.